Welcome back to the Gweilo 60. You can see what's happening between Canada and the United States, and it's sort of funny in a way. It's we've been buddies for 100 years, and free trade across the border, and there was a time where we could cross the border. You don't even have to show ID, a passport, anything like that. Well, those days are over. It started out with Trump tariffing the living bejesus out of Canada just because he didn't like Justin Trudeau. Well, I don't blame him for that, because most people, even Canadians, don't like Justin Trudeau. He's what's he called? The idiot king. Sure. But the tariffs and the bullying that was going on by Trump against Canada got to the point where he was just a very untrustworthy economic partner in the world. So we sort of just started turning our backs on him. It started in Davos when Carney got up and gave a speech, and it was a good speech. I'm not a Carney fan, but he has his moments, guys. He really does. Where he was talking about the New World Order and how the large countries could bully the smaller countries, and how the middle-sized economies have to get together so that we can compete and sort of soften the bullying blows of countries like the United States. Well, Carney took it a couple steps further here just lately, and he started to cozy up to China. Why? Well, because what I've been telling you all along here is China is a better trading partner than the United States will ever be. They have the technology. They have 49,000 electric vehicles that are going to be imported into Canada, and they're inexpensive and they're top notch. They go for 1,000 kilometers on a charge. They are perfect for a country that prides itself in green energy. Why would you put a 100% tariff on electric vehicles when you're trying to stop global warming? You're trying to make your country cleaner, greener, and all this other stuff. It made no sense. But because Trudeau wanted to be Trump's little lapdog, because he wanted him to like him again or something, he followed along with this 100% tariff, thinking that against China, thinking that Trump and the United States would reciprocate and say thank you, and we're going to be nicer to you and stuff. Well, that never happened. So, and Carney sees this. So Carney says, well, we're going to start changing the way that we do business around the world. And it's a good thing, because most everything went to the United States. 75% of all of the trade, all of the products that were produced in Canada went to the United States at a discount, because then you don't have to ship it overseas and such. But Carney's taking it to the next level, which I think is great. See, the Canadian military, for every dollar that they used to spend on the military, on supplies and such, 70% of that was sourced out of the United States. So out of every dollar, 70 cents went to the United States, and that's a pretty big contract, military contract coming out of Canada. Carney says this is no longer going to happen. We're not going to be spending any more money on our military in the United States. We're going to source it from Canadian companies, and if we don't have Canadian companies, we're going to build those Canadian companies in Canada, and we are not going to buy from the United States anymore. Sure, they might not be as good as the United States. They'll be less expensive for that's for sure. They might not be as good, but we will get better in time, and we have to start somewhere, so start now. That got under Donald Trump's skin, and he started to grumble and grump and whatever. But hey, he made the bed. Now everybody's going to lie in it. And as far as resources go, we're building. Canada's building another pipeline. It's just in the starting stages, but another pipeline from Alberta to northern BC to carry oil through the pipeline to the Pacific Ocean. And where do you think the destination of that oil is going to be? It's going to be to mainland China. Yes, it is. So they're selling more oil, and most of the oil that comes through the Trans Mountain Pipeline to southern BC goes to China right now. It doesn't go to the United States, it goes to China. A lot of our oil used to go to the United States, but we pulled back on that because of, well, for one thing, the Americans won't pay as much as the Chinese will for it. Now that they've got this Iranian war going on, Canadian oil is higher, sought after more. The Chinese want it. Venezuela's being shut down. That hurt China. Iran, the Strait of Hormuz, a lot of that oil went to China. So that hurts. But they can always look to the Canadians because the Canadians are ponying up to the Chinese right now because they can't do business with the United States. And they figure that China is a better trading partner, and they are. The Chinese are buying more canola from Canada because of the EV, the 49,000 EVs. The tariffs have been taken off of those. So you got reciprocal understanding between China and Canada, and if we can grow on that and make you got 1.4 billion consumers, guys. Of course you want that. You want Chinese technology, you want Chinese semiconductors, you want Chinese machinery, you want Chinese EVs, you want all of these things from China. And what does China want from Canada? Resources. Canada is resource heavy. They've got oil, they've got uranium, they've got gold, they've got grain, they've got potash for fertilizer, they've got lumber, they've got, basically Canada has everything that a big country like China wants. And China's big on importing stuff, building something, and exporting the final product. Well, what a better country to be in bed with than Canada. And Canada, what a better country to be in bed with than China. I know there's a lot of people out saying, oh, you know, the liberal government is communist, Chinese are communist. No, it's all a capitalist situation. And I've lived in Canada, I've lived in China. I've lived in China over 20 years, you know, so I've got a lot of experience. And China's no more a communist country than Canada is or the United States is. Actually, the United States has more rules and regulations than China and Canada put together. And they badmouth people. They make it difficult to deal with them because they think they're better than other people. They think that their government, if their government wasn't here, the world would be a worse off place. Well, you tell that to people in Libya and the Sudan and United Arab Emirates and Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan and, you know, Venezuela to Panama to you name it. Which would you rather deal with, China or the United States? Knowing that the United States is fatal. Your country, if you're a buddy of the United States, it's fatal to your country. Sooner or later, they're going to turn on you like they turned on the Kurds. And China doesn't do that. See, China's has a different understanding. They don't get involved in your politics, and the United States wants to change the politics to what they want it to be of your country. So I think it's a good deal that Canada is getting in bed with China, cozying up to China, making economic deals with China, smoothing over the Meng Wanzhou and they detained Meng Wanzhou, the owner of Huawei's daughter, on the word of the United States of America, and that sort of fell apart, just made it harder on Canada to do business with China. I think they've learned their lesson now, and from now on they'll think twice before they listen to the United States of America and do stupid things. And China would appreciate that, and their hand is always out and wanting to do business with countries all around the world. So I guess most of those countries around the world could quit being a dick to China and start doing business like China does and make the world a better place to be. Just think how the policies of the Trump administration impact the Midwest farmers in the United States, where they're not selling their canola to China anymore. They're not selling their soybeans to China anymore. They're not selling lots of different things And because of the tariffs in the United States, it's less expensive to go buy all of these products out of China or out of Brazil or out of other countries, because with those tariffs, those United States tariffs, it just doesn't make any sense. Buy it from a better quality of product in Canada than the United States, by far. Less expensive, less red tape. It's not the economic sale of products is not at the whim of one person. If somebody disrespects Donald Trump, 50% tariffs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh God, it's like, oh, and then he was Jesus Christ on his True Social account. He's got all the robe and everything. And after people gave a little bit of backlash to him, he says, "Oh no, I was a doctor. Only the the media, the fake media would see it at that." And like, it's like, oh. And then what do the Iranians do? They make an AI mocking Trump where Jesus comes down and slaps him into hell. You know what I mean? You can't make this stuff up. So how do you wreck an economy in 1 year? Well, ask Donald Trump. How do you brainwash 50% of the population of a country? And I talk to people here, because there's a lot of ex-military in the Philippines. I talk to people here that are American, and they still believe in Trump, and I don't get it. They see what's going on. Do they actually believe that? I don't know. In the comment section, if you're American, I want to hear from you. If you're Canadian, what do you think of Carney ponying up to China? If you're any other country around the world that's having problems with the United States, doing more business with China, because China, even after all the tariffs, their sales of exports went up to $1.2 trillion. So it keeps rising, even if the United States is trying to make it hard for exports to the United States. Anyway, that's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, that's the ferry we brought our van on. Right there. And you can see the van. Well, you saw the van at the beginning of the video. I'm enjoying it. It's fun to drive. It's about time I got another vehicle. Anyway, that's another video from yours truly, Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe. Hit the bell. And until next time, peace out. Bye now.